The Elder Scrolls Oblivion is a game I hold very dear due to the fact that it essentially was the first open world RPG that I had the pleasure of playing, and is what defined my love for RPG games and what they have to offer. It came at a time where RPGs were few and fine and usually were more reserved for classical RPGs, in which I was just too young at the time to fully understand those mechanics. Now, of course, I probably should not have been playing Oblivion at the age of 12 either, but hey, we've all been there. I always wish for a moment to occur when the RPG gamers of this generation would get the chance to delve into this world, but a more updated version of it, since the game unfortunately is just way too outdated to be able to enjoy. Like, can you imagine what the kids would say about those floaty animations, horrific character models, janky NPC interactions, and low resolution textures? Don't even get me started on the infinite hell scaling of enemies, the copy paste dungeon models, and game breaking bugs. Okay, well, I'm sure they're actually used to the bugs by now since every game comes out a buggy mess nowadays. But I digress. So, when I heard of the SKYBLIVION team creating a remake of the Oblivion game through the use of Skyrim game logic, of course, with modding level improvements, as well as improved graphics, improved dungeon mapping, combat, overland map density, monsters, and loot, I was blown away. And in some ways, I couldn't even believe it. I mean, guys, the video footage just shows for yourself how far this team has gone to make this reality again. I'm really thankful for them even taking the time out of their day to create such a masterpiece. This team has been hard at work for years to provide us with the experience we have all been asking Bethesda for since the generation of remakes began. I mean, after all, something like this will just print money. Instead, Bethesda pours all their funding into strange microtransactions, Creation Club content, and Fallout 76, which is a game to this day hurts my soul.
It is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, and this time it features all new rendering, lighting, and landscape technology. It allows us to have 16 times the detail and even view distant weather systems across the map. I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs. All of this just works.
Now, of course, this route was lucrative, but it left such a sour taste in the mouth of fans to the point where Bethesda has become sort of a meme company, a far fall from grace they once were at. But as always, the modding community takes Bethesda and puts them on their backs and carries them like a classic tryhard in League of Legends. I am okay with this when it comes to older games, however, because it is sort of the community giving back for some of the greatest open world experiences to date. As we got closer to the anxiously waiting release day of SKYBLIVION, rumors started to spread of an Oblivion Remaster in the works, and these rumors became more and more rampant as it drew closer to the year of 2025. What was once a speculation based on leaks has now become an actual fact, where Oblivion is not only getting a remaster, it is getting a quote-unquote legitimate remake. Ironically, this is coming out very soon with an estimation of, I believe, early 2025, which ironically would set it right before the SKYBLIVION remake. We have seen something similar before, in which Fallout London was marketing itself to be released back in 2024, and Bethesda ironically decided to heavily update the game, even in its code, thereby making or breaking many, if not all, the mods that Fallout London depended on. So yet again, we are here, in which Bethesda seems to be timing this perfectly around a time in which SKYBLIVION remake is coming out, which of course raises eyebrows from the fans. Now, according to the rumor mill, the Bethesda Oblivion remake is being made by an outsourced company, which is funny because they literally said a couple years ago that they do not do outsourcing of their IPs after the Fallout New Vegas situation. But at any rate, this company is in fact making a remake of the game, and several factors were announced in terms of what changes we can expect. Keep in mind that I still do not believe everything here is etched in stone, as it's not confirmed by Bethesda. We will have to just wait on their press conference before we can be official. But that does not mean we can't sit here and discuss this topic now, can we? So the first thing to mention is the graphics. The team is maintaining the same physics engine which is kind of funky and janky, but utilizing Unreal Engine 5 as a sort of paint over where they will rebuild assets through that engine. Now, I'm not a coder or nor am I a game developer, but I can't help but wonder how this would affect performance, since Unreal is very rough on the CPU performance of things, and with all the NPCs and interactions that Oblivion has, I can't help but question how that will pan out. The other issue to bring up is the modding scene and how malleable it will be to be able to mod this remake, since modding is the crux of Bethesda's open world games. It is not a niche thing anymore, and almost everyone that's playing Skyrim today is playing with anywhere between 30 and 3,000 mods. Trust me, I have 3 mod lists, and 2 of the 3 have like 2,500 mods in them. Nonetheless, this is great news because my biggest issue with Oblivion were those horrific dungeon designs, man. They literally looked exactly the same, which is understandable back then since it literally was one man tasked to doing all of the dungeons. So it'll be great to see how they do this, especially since they essentially will be competing with SKYBLIVION, whom has reworked every single dungeon beyond measure. I mean, it is phenomenal the work these guys. I can't stress this enough, guys. To the point where I got the feeling it'll be reeling in both fans and non-fans of Bethesda games and open world games alike. It is just that premium of a product. The next thing they did mention is a change to combat through its numbers, which I'm guessing is going to be how damage is calculated, armor resistances, buffs, etc. What I am really hoping for here is changes to the enemy scaling in the game, because bro, the enemy scales with you regardless of your build, and eventually even a skeever or a rat ends up having hundreds of health and you're whacking them non-stop. Dragon Age of Veilguard. Now, they are also reworking the blocking and making it more Souls-like, which I'm guessing means it'll be based on timing and stamina, since in the old Oblivion, all you really had to do was hold your shield up, then enemy hits it, and they get staggered. It's actually really hilarious how you could break the game in that way. This does sound very nice though, and if done right, would actually make combat in this game very nice to play, even with the janky animations. They also mentioned archery improvements, which I am excited to hear more about. I'm honestly hoping to God for a locational damage for once. I'd be so pissed if they don't make locational damage, since freaking mods have been doing this since 2015 for all of Bethesda's RPG games. Please make locational damage so I'm not shooting someone in their head and they're in front of me with an arrow in their head yelling out, "Haha, you should have paid to fight!" Now come on, Oblivion fans, you should have seen that coming. The classic Imperial Guard dialogue. Sorry for waking you up. Now, they mentioned something about making the HUD and UI more approachable for the younger generation, and I'm sorry, but every time I hear this, I cringe a bit internally. The amount of times I heard this and only saw the most garbage implementation is crazy. Veilguard wanted to be more approachable for younger players, and look how that turned out. They took everything from it and oversimplified it. The beauty in Oblivion was in that HUD, man, and its old parchment paper look and design that just matched the flair and aesthetic of the game. I truly hope they don't ruin that UI, because it'll get ridiculed to all hell by the fan base, since the people waiting for this game are of an older generation of gamers like myself, and I'm sorry, but if the younger generation of gamers can't understand the HUD that's already present in Oblivion, which is really damn easy by the way, and have some level of patience for old-fashioned RPGs, they do not need to be playing this game and should consider trying, I don't know, Fortnite or something. The problem I'm having here is that they didn't even mention any changes to the facial animations, as it is so outdated that it may not even be acceptable in this day and age. I'm also concerned about how leveling is going to work, because I'm sorry, but leveling was absolutely broken since they go for this rather outdated system where you level up skills based on what you do versus just a static system. Bethesda just never got that system right, and a lot of games nowadays have had or created such excellent leveling designs. So now the big question in the room is, how is this going to stack up with SKYBLIVION, the mod created version of the Oblivion Remake, and what will I be supporting? The thing is, I know what SKYBLIVION is doing, and what I saw from them is practically revolutionary. They somehow managed to make the Skyrim physics engine look really good and really updated, and those dungeons, quest rewrites, item designs, modifications, combat enhancements, and nav meshes make me more excited for this mod than every game set to release this year. As for the Oblivion Remake, it has big shoes to fill, and I have no idea what they're actually cooking, but I do know that they are fully aware of the SKYBLIVION implementation and how desperate Bethesda fans were waiting for an Oblivion Remake that Bethesda literally did not take advantage of until now. Based on Bethesda's track record, I can say that this remake will not hold a candle to SKYBLIVION. However, it is being outsourced by another studio, which makes me intrigued. I certainly will support both because I do feel like each will satisfy its own niche. SKYBLIVION will be the Oblivion if it was made in the updated Skyrim engine, while the Oblivion remake will be more akin to the nostalgia of what made Oblivion such a powerful relic of gaming. I also do want to support efforts like these from game studios since I personally prefer the older game titles by far. New games tend to focus on fast, quick, grab your attention mechanics and gameplay loops, and I am much more of a slow and methodical gamer, hence why I appreciate RPGs so much. But let me know what you guys think of the Oblivion remake as well as the SKYBLIVION remake. Which one will you be playing? Have you played the previous Oblivion before, or are you new to this kind of franchise? And most importantly, comment on any improvements I should make with these videos since I am learning as I go along, and it will be greatly appreciated to get some feedback. Leave a like and subscribe for more updates and content on RPGs moving forward. Thank you guys, stay safe, RPG Shactics is out.